Today's episode of Not Another Gaming Podcast is brought to you by the good folks over at Echo Gear. Echo Gear monitor mounts are designed with gamers in mind, and they know how important it is to reduce clutter and distraction while gaming. They want you to get your monitors in the exact position you want them in. They know that that's the best way to reduce clutter, and those mounts are built with high-quality materials, and they offer butter-smooth, on-the-fly screen height and angle adjustments for complete control. So whether you need desk or wall mounts, you want 1, 2, 6, 15, 87, horizontal, vertical displays, or both, Echo Gear's got you covered. Setup takes 15 minutes, product designs are universal, and all mounts are backed with a 5-year warranty. Echo Gear's pros are just one quick call away, and they're available 7 days a week for support. Echo Gear, proud supporter of Not Another Gaming Podcast, and we love them right back, and we love you. You already know that we love you, and we want to make sure that you save a little scratch. I mean, I got a wedding to save up for here. I can't be spending all this money on monitor mounts. My shit will get annulled before it even starts. If you want to save 15% on a brand new monitor mount, you can go to echogear.com or you can go to amazon.com, and you can punch in promo code WICKEDGOOD at checkout, and it'll slice 15% off the total. That is promo code WICKEDGOOD. That's echogear.com. Echo Gear, game on and on and on. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy episode 137 of Not Another Gaming Podcast, which is coming at you right now. Yo, welcome back to Not Another Gaming Podcast. It is your boy, Papa Dom. We are here. It's episode 137. We are live. I think we're all exhausted. I have been probably the busiest that I'm more or less ever going to be in my entire life. So wedding planning down to the wire. We're like a week away, and holy shit, it's really real. So as always, accompanying me on these internet streets are my two lovely co-hosts, looking particularly cloudy today. Robert, how are you?
I'm doing all right. I am fucking exhausted. It's been another crazy week of work, so I'm ready to go to bed.
Word. And Christopher, you look lovely as always. How are you feeling?
Appreciate it, man. I'm doing good. Nice busy week. Feeling a little rejuvenated because of it. You know, it's my work line's like up and down. So when it's busy, it's tiring, but it feels good at the same time. But I'm here with the good people, Mr. Papa Dom, Dr. Bob. Excited to be here. Episode 137. It's a lot of episodes, man. It's a lot of episodes.
It's a lot. It's time to set it off. We need to set it off. Yeah, no, I feel you. I mean, we're in a kind of a similar line of work. So when it's good, it's good. You know, when those endorphins are hitting, when those deals are closing, those endorphins are hitting, and I can't help but agree. So July's kind of a shitty month for me typically, but it's all right. We got a lot to look forward to in the next week or so. So pretty happy about that. But we're gonna get right the fuck into it. I know we got people that are listening in their vehicles, in their delivery on their delivery routes. We got people probably on their way to maybe a luxurious vacation. Maybe they're on their way out here to West Wyoming to attend my wedding. I don't know. Maybe, wherever the wind takes you. We're so glad that you're here with us for episode 137, Not Another Gaming Podcast, and we got a lot on the agenda. So without further ado, let's get into a little weekend recap. Bobby, how you feeling? How was your weekend? And what the fuck have you been playing?
What the fuck? I didn't do anything this week because I worked 8 hours of overtime last week. Unpaid because I'm salaried. Yeah, I didn't do anything. I hung out with Kaylee one day on Saturday. Had a real fucking weird night. One of the weirdest nights of my life. Yeah, fucking crazy. And that's about it. I've really only been playing League's Teamfight Tactics. I am so fucking balls deep in that game. It's ridiculous. The rank season just dropped yesterday, but they put in another patch today to change shit, and it's so fucking frustrating. And I was talking about it in our Discord, which you could join. It's I don't fucking know. Just type discord.com/gaming. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, discord.gg/roll your hand across your keyboard.
But I was talking about it in our Discord, and I brought up the fact that every single match I go into, there's like 2 people pushing for a specific synergy called Blade Masters because they're super broken right now. It is fucking bad. It's hard. Like, I don't know. I'm having a good time with the rank because it's extra competitive, but when there's a meta defined so like prominently, everybody's going for it, and it's so hard to work against. So I rage quit today. I was playing, I got smoked by a Blade Master, for the 4th fucking time in a row. So you know what? I'd take the rest of the night off.
Yeah. Christopher, how about yourself? You get smoked by any Blade Masters this weekend?
I'm afraid I didn't. But my weekend was good. Ended up hitting the casino with Mr. Papadom on Friday night.
I forgot about that.
That was a good time, but I guarantee your bank account did not forget about that.
No.
But it was a good time. Those all over the place night. Ended up walking into like a male strip fucking event that we had no idea. We walked in, we were like, why is it so quiet in here? Why is it just all girls? And then the dude on stage ripped his shirt open. I was like, oh fuck, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Everyone was laughing on the way out. And then I've been playing GTA still. Really taking my time on that, but I haven't really been playing too much of that anything besides GTA and Clash Royale on my phone.
That's great to hear. Yeah, no, I had a similarly odd weekend. Christopher and I got together, and did we do anything before Mix, or was that?
Yeah,
that wasn't the first place.
Right? No, we went to.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, we did. Wow, that was last weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, what the fuck? What is wrong with my brain? I'm really starting to get concerned because this shit is really just. All right, we'll just get into it. Yeah, so we were at like a little outdoor tiki bar that opened up, which looked like a fucking like a Hawaiian themed penitentiary with chain link fences and like concrete barricades on the outside. It looked like they went to a Big Lots and got as many like outdoor like cheapo supplies that they could and just made it look remotely tropical in like this industrial parking lot on the side of a highway. So nothing like a little island music being offset by like carbon emissions on the side of Route 1. So that stunk. But yeah, then we went down to a local old reliable watering hole. We figured, like we'll have a couple refreshments. We'll see what's going on. We'll, rub elbows with them good people. What's the worst that could possibly happen? Well, you'd be surprised to fucking find out that the worst possible thing happened when we just beeline straight into the, like, I'm hesitant to call it a club, but I guess like the lounge area of this place. There's like a little sports bar, and then it kind of goes to where like was a big DJ area. And we walk straight in. There's no cover, which should have immediately been a red flag. Should have been a red flag. Because there was no buffer. Like, there was no stopping us from... There was no pause, right? Like, we walked in, grabbed a beer from the bar, and then just went straight back. And there was nobody to stop us, so we couldn't process what could have been happening on the other side. So... we walked straight in, and sure enough, it took... I'd like to think we got about 3 good strides. Into the lounge area, you'd say. And it had dawned on all of us, it's like, wow, it is like 100% women in attendance. And that was odd. That struck us as strange. And then it was like, there doesn't seem to be a DJ here. And instead, it was like 3 dudes who were like fucking throwing their shirts off, and there was like people like on chairs. And I have never turned on my heel faster. It was like the split second that we realized it. We got right the fuck out of there. So then we ended up at the casino. That stunk.
You guys didn't like Magic Mike? Like you guys?
No. Oh, Robert, you would think it was Magic Mike, but then I looked at it on my phone after we got out of there, and we were like panting and covered in sweat. I was like, "What is going? Like, why wasn't that on the billboard?" And then it was advertised as 50 Shades the stage show, and so we were probably. I mean, who knows? Maybe we got there before or after the handcuffing, but I didn't know that you could do that. Like, I figured that's something you'd charge a cover for. So good for those guys. Shout out to them. for just working for free, because clearly, there's definitely a market for it, I guess. But
well, the thing is, we were so clueless about that whole thing. Where if there was someone at the door collecting covers, we would have paid it,
right?
Because we would have thought it was just like the normal cover charge, and then we would have walked in and saw penis everywhere.
I mean, well, you figure like maybe if there was somebody at the door, you figure it's one of the guys that works there or something, and he'd probably be like, "Are you guys sure? Do you go?" Or I mean, usually they have like a little card that shows you what the show is. It'll be like Kiss the cover band live tonight, and I have seen a Kiss cover band at that bar, and it was fantastic. But yeah, you figure that if there was actually a guy manning the door or whoever, we would have known. But wow. Way to give that service out for free. What a... Wow. Just wow.
Just wow.
Just wow. And then we ended up at Encore. I have a feeling that this is not going to be the last time we say that on this podcast, and it horrifies me to even think about that. We ended up there. We saw like a billion people that we knew, like right off the rip. Everybody's like, "Yeah, I just lost a bunch of money. I'm going back to the ATM. You got $6 on you." Just insanity. One of our buddies... had to double down basically after tying with a dealer, and didn't have an extra $100 to double down on, and some fucking stranger slipped him $100 chip to do it, and then he lost the hand. And then so we were like, great, we're gonna get jumped by these people in the parking lot because this dude just lost his $100, but the guys just were gone by the time we turned around. So crazy, so mad. Crazy. But yeah, all around weird weekend. I have been playing the shit out of Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm trying to finish that fucking game, but it's so goddamn long, and there's just so much going on with it. But it's good-ish. I'm excited for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 to come out tomorrow. I really want to download that so that I can get a head start on it, and then have plenty of time to play it on my honeymoon. So I'm really excited for that as well. But let's get right into it. So a lot of weird news came out this week. I'm remiss to say that there would be any there's not a whole lot of news, real news, but there's just some weird stories that have come out this week. One of which involves, Gears 5 and, the kind of the head of the Coalition studio, who, and his name's Rod Ferguson. If you don't know, he's Gears Viking on Twitter. He's pretty vocal on Twitter about pretty much everything. So if you haven't seen him, you've probably seen one of his tweets before. But he's one of the more publicly facing developers kind of in the industry right now. So Rod Ferguson released a statement to Variety, which is a magazine that I've never read, but I always see it quoted, released a statement to Variety. I've never seen an issue of Variety with my own two eyes, that Gears 5 would not feature any smoking in the game. No cigars, no cigarettes, no vapes, no jewels, no nothing. Essentially, and apparently this came out because the initiative called Truth Initiative, they do the Truth commercials with the orange thing. They approached Turner Broadcasting, who owns E-League, which is where Gears 5 esports are going to live, and basically asked them to look into the games that they were hosting that glorified smoking, and try to work with the developers to reduce or eliminate the imagery in those games that had to do with cigarettes or cigars. Because, statistics, young kids smoking, blah, blah, blah. I know you guys don't know anything about that. So previous Gears games, I guess the only example that I saw in the article that I pulled this from was that there was a character in Gears 3 who always had a cigar while you played as him in competitive multiplayer, which is, for me, I don't really think that there's a whole lot of time in Gears multiplayer to rotate the camera and look at your character and appreciate their model. But I guess he had a cigar always, and now they're taking conscious efforts to make sure that Gears 5 does not include any sort of smoking imagery. Rod Ferguson also said that coincidentally there was also no smoking in Gears 4, and he said there was no smoking to remove in Gears 4 or 5 because there was never any smoking to begin with, and as long as I'm in control, there never will be. He said,
good for him.
I've
Yeah,
seen
sick, dude.
Good for you, pal.
I've seen firsthand the devastating impact of smoking. It's always been important for me to not use smoking as a narrative device, which is why we made the conscious choice to avoid highlighting or glorifying smoking in Gears 5 and throughout the Gears of War universe moving forward. So, Chris,
Yes.
just tell me what's on your mind.
Fuck him. I don't get what's like glorifying it, because a fictional character is smoking a cigarette. Like, I don't know what this whole uptick in the glorification and smoking is all of a sudden. Like Stranger Things season 3, out of nowhere, Hopper's been smoking cigarettes since season 1. All of a sudden, he smokes more than he ever has, and it's glamorized. No, it's not glamorized. A guy
In the
smoking
fucking
cigarettes.
80s.
No,
Yeah,
it's a proper depiction of the time.
That's what I'm saying, and everyone's freaking the fuck out about it. Side note, he makes cigarettes look delicious, but that's I'm just saying. Just saying.
You're not helping the argument.
I know, but I just had to say it. 'Cause I was talking
Unrelated.
about that the other day. Unrelated. But there's nothing like being glorified about it. I get that you want to make a stand on smoking because obviously it's not good for you. But taking the whole like, oh, well, we're taking all smoking out of Gears of War 5. Oh, I didn't even know there was smoking in any of the Gears of War. Like, I'm not like, oh, man, that fucking, I don't even know what those characters are called. Oh, man, that thing is smoking a cigar. Like, he makes that look so...
Cog.
That cog is smoking a cigar, making it look so good, man. I got to try smoking. No, that's never crossed my mind. But, like, I get what they're doing, but fuck you, Mr. Ferguson. Like, there's no point in making such a big stink about it. Just take it out. It's like you do something you have to get acknowledged for. Just take it out of the game. No, who's even talking about that?
That's, oh my god, that's such a good point that they do it just to be acknowledged.
Yeah, like no one's talking about that.
Well, I can understand the fact that like he would want to do this because maybe it is a personal thing for him. But hey, guess what? You don't have to go tweet about it.
So I guess this
came
up. This didn't come up because he said, "Hey guys, look at me. We're not doing smoking." What it came out that Truth Initiative had approached Turner Broadcasting, who owns E-League, and since Gears 5 is the most relevant E-League thing, they asked him for a statement, and then he said to Variety, there was never anything to remove because it was just never in there in the first place.
Okay, so picture it this way. What if Marlboro approached them and was like, hey, we want all of the characters to be smoking. Here's $3 trillion.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen then? Do you think they just fucking put a cigar in everybody's lips?
Everyone, behind the ears, everywhere.
Exactly.
I mean, that's clearly what they did for fucking Red Dead Redemption 2, because everybody's cranking a horn every 5 seconds, and they look delicious.
It's absolutely ridiculous. It's just because they're working with a company that's funding them that they're making this into a bigger deal than it already is. I'm fine with whatever their decision is. It's a fucking video game. Whose life is this really going to affect when it boils down to reality? Who is actually going to like benefit or negatively be affected by this? Nobody. It's a game. They're fictional characters. It doesn't matter. This was brought up previously a couple of years ago. I might have even brought it up on the podcast at one point. But there's a character in League of Legends, Graves, he carries around a giant fucking like blunderbuss shotgun, and he's got a big fat cigar in his mouth. They took it out of the game, and people were fucking pissed.
Good.
You're removing part of his identity. You're removing part of his character. Like, how could you do this?
Who is this?
I think Graves in League of Legends.
Oh.
I think they reverted it. I think they put it back in because they were getting such negative backlash from it. Like, look, we don't give a shit that he's smoking a cigar. We give a shit that you're detracting from a characterization of one of our favorite characters in the game.
Right.
So, you know what solves all of these fucking problems? Why don't you just put into the menu, do you want to see this? And you could quote it graphic content.
Yeah. They actually did that.
Everything.
Didn't they do that with I think they did that with Gears 1 or 2 that was like extra gore? Like, do you want to turn off like excess gore? So like if you give somebody a headshot. I don't want
to turn that off. I want to watch everything explode.
Yeah, exactly. I think there was an option to like turn off those headshots.
I want to watch someone ash their cigar in the hole that they just left at the person's shoulders that they just had.
Right.
That's what I want to watch.
Yeah, so
if someone else doesn't want to, then click that button and they don't have to do it. Instead of just completely removing it and possibly isolating people in your fan base, I don't think it will, because who the fuck? Honestly, nobody fucking cares. But why not just put the option in for people? Instead, they're making that binary yes or no decision for you.
Imagine being that little twerp prick that's like, I'm not buying this game because one of the cogs is smoking a cigar and that I'm taking a stand, yada yada. It's smoking. How about you take the part where you can chainsaw another thing?
The Chainsaw Safety Organization of America.
Yeah, I'm calling them. I'm calling them tomorrow. Whatever exists with that, I'm calling them. I'm taking a fucking stand. Smoke if you want to smoke. Keep it in the game if you want to keep it in the game. But what I'm concerned, it's strictly for attention. Variety magazine is like when the fucking Chevy commercial says that they won the JD Power Award. What the fuck's a JD Power Award? That's not a thing.
They made it up themselves.
Exactly. And so is Variety magazine. I made a big statement to Variety magazine that I said, Variety magazine doesn't exist.
Can I spin this topic, and feel free to veto this if you don't want to throw your hat in? I want to spin this topic and ask you guys, what form of media, whether it's a TV show, video game, or movie, has made cigarettes look the most delicious and appealing that you can remember?
The Sopranos.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a really
They
good
made everything. The Sopranos made everything bad for a human being look so delectable. Something that I want to pursue in life. Crime, fucking sex,
stealing VCRs,
alcohol,
doing Percocets,
cigarettes,
feeding ducks.
Dude,
and then the good things that come of it, talking to a therapist. No thank you. I'm good.
We're actually the narrative. Tony Soprano's narrative was really just about bringing awareness to mental health and making sure people go to therapy when they need it.
Yep.
And then he just continues doing crime for 12 seasons, and it just doesn't fucking help. Also, TP Poker chimed in and said, "Hey pal, JD Power is my uncle."
I bet he is.
Well, I guess we know where it comes from.
Who's the other person that he really likes? Like Dolly Parton or something like that?
Betty White.
Betty White.
TP Poker, son of JD Power. It makes sense. It checks out.
It really does. But The Sopranos is an incredible call. I already brought it up, but Hopper and Stranger Things make cigarettes look so good. As someone who smoked cigarettes for a while, there's something so nice about like being in the right lighting.
Oh yeah, you quit?
I mean, I don't smoke as much as I used to. But when you're in like the nice certain lighting, and like you watch the exhale come out, it's a super satisfying thing. They find all those shots in Stranger Things.
Oh yes,
it looks incredible.
Gotta hit the motherfucking angles. With your hoon out.
Every old Western movie just glorifying dip spit. Oh, brings me back to my prime.
Recently watched Man in the High Castle on Amazon Prime, and it's like set in like World War II era, and everybody everywhere is chain smoking all the time, and it's all Zippos. So it's just the sound of like the little like cling, zip, and then, dude, yeah, I swear to God, exactly the same thing with Stranger Things. They must put like a boom mic right underneath the cigarette so you can hear like just the
crackling.
Yeah. Oh my God. And I'm like, Lauren, I'm gonna go buy a pack of cigs. Like, I'm ready. So Truth Initiative, make sure you go talk to the Stranger Things people and the Amazon Prime people and the and HBO.
Or Marlboro, reach out to Netflix, see what you can do.
Take a fucking stand, Marlboro. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You used to have the Flintstones. Take a stand.
I mean, to be devil's advocate, they kind of have been for the past like 60 years.
They've been doing that since like Nickelodeon.
It's all circling back now.
It was
take a bigger stand.
Chris started smoking cigarettes. Now we can't even talk to him, and he looks like this on the couch, like melted in. He did weed once, and now he doesn't even talk to us anymore.
How many weeds does it take to get like this?
Is your kid doing weed? Truth Initiative. But yeah, I mean, I guess I don't give a fuck. I really don't fucking... It's such like a non-issue. I don't even think, honestly, this is like the type of thing that there shouldn't even be a headline on. Like...
Nope.
You know, they don't have to... Like, if Turner Broadcasting wants to run Truth Initiative... And I'm almost positive they're a non-profit or a not-for-profit, so I don't even think that they're a sponsor. But, like, they went to Turner and said, hey, lots of kids watch your shit. Can you relay a message or maybe, like, consider like trying to censor cigarettes from those games so that they don't see cigs on the screen and like not run ads for cig company. I don't know.
You know what you do to fucking segue that? say hypothetically they did approach Netflix and they mentioned it for Stranger Things season 4. Say something fucking horrific happens episode 1, and then Hopper just looks down at his cigs and throws them out. There you go.
Yeah.
Now you're promoting fucking quitting
I'm
bad
not
habits.
Smoking anymore.
It just, what bothers me so much about stuff like this is the fact that there's always a yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
And the company behind it is always the one making that decision, instead of listening to the community or their fan base, like, hey, what do you guys want? And then instead of making that yes or no, that 1 or 0 like action, they give everybody else the opportunity to do it themselves. Give somebody, we play video games, we're gamers. Give the gamers the ability to make that decision themselves. All you have to do is put in the yes or no. Do you want to see this or not? It's been in the most gruesome franchises for the entirety of video game history. Why is it so hard to do now?
Yeah.
Everyone's such a fucking baby now, from what I'm saying. Like you said,
Soft.
it shouldn't be softer than baby shit. But it shouldn't be a headline.
Fucking jellyfish, spineless jellyfish.
Absolutely. And like, if I'm out of line, tell me. But I'm gonna say something. I don't care that you hurt your elbow. No, I'm just kidding.
Fucking say it.
But like, everyone tries to like shine a little light on addiction and things like that. Like, people have their own things, and people get addicted to things, and everyone tries to be like, oh, like it's a disease. It's a disease. Guess what else is a disease? Nicotine addiction. It's an addiction. It might not be as strong as everything else, but it's an addiction. So like you taking that out completely, it just like sweeps it under the rug. It's still a thing.
Coffee's the more addictive than nicotine.
I beg to differ.
Caffeine. Well,
I'm addicted to both, so I'm not.
As someone who literally can't function without both. Well, I'm glad that you pointed that out, Chris, about people just being babies about everything. Because speaking of babies, and this might be the worst segue that I've ever had.
That's a tough one.
A Smash Pro has retired after admitting to a relationship with someone who might have been underage. So there's your segue, and I'm gonna shut off the stream now because that's about that. But no, so the guy's name's Ally. This is a couple weeks ago that this broke. He won the Smash Wii U tournament at EVO 2016. He hasn't, I don't think, taken home any like final prizes yet, but he's been consistently pretty strong in rankings. Long story short here, guy's 28. He came under like fire for allegations that he was involved in a romantic relationship with a much younger fellow pro who may have been 16 at the time. There is no evidence or proof about this. There is literally no like hard factual evidence at all whether or not this happened. He categorically denied it. He later returned to Twitter after like kind of taking a few, I would assume, weeks off, and said that the situation had been, quote, taken care of, and asked the community to move forward. But there was no kind of,
nobody did.
And that was, well, I don't, yeah, I mean, as far as I've seen, I haven't seen any like follow-up stories on it yet. This came out, this story came out like exactly 10 days ago, and I haven't seen anything just yet. But yeah, there was like pictures of them together and like handwritten notes and stuff like that, but there was no evidence of like a romantic or inappropriate relationship. But nonetheless, the guy Ally retired, and he said, I feel like it's the right thing to do. I'm going to retire from Smash. I'm sorry for everybody that I disappointed. So I don't know really what to say about it because, you know, if there's no evidence here, I mean, maybe these two guys were close friends. They're two male Smash Pros, not that it makes a difference, you know, love is love. And there were some people, I mean, because Twitter is just like a fucking hell app, that were saying this would be a non-issue, you know, if it was like people in like movies or like if it wasn't a same-sex couple or something like that. But regardless, the guy retires. It's not a great look, because even just that there's remote evidence that these two might have had some sort of semi-romantic relationship going on. So just like, what the fuck is wrong with people, I guess is the topic here. I don't know if anybody has any commentary on this, but like what the hell is going on?
I think it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. I want to look further into this just because we're in a generation right now. We're in a time period where once people throw allegations and rumors, whether they're substantiated or not, up onto social media such as Twitter, the cesspool of social media, people lose their jobs, people lose their careers, they lose their their livelihood, and like at some point it needs to end. Like at some point somebody needs to like put their foot down and be like, look, all this shit you said about me, you have no proof about it, it's defamatory, and I'm gonna lose work over this. I think I brought this up previously, but I've been following the Vic Mignogna stuff that's been going on for a while, and he was accused of being a predatory towards women with no like proof, no evidence, no nothing, and he lost convention gigs. He got dropped by Funimation. He got dropped by Rooster Teeth, and he put his foot down. He was like, "Look, I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm not going to deal with this. I will take everybody to court." And that's exactly what's going on. I've been watching the depositions for the past week. I've been watching 10 plus hours of fucking lawyer depositions about this. And I'm glad that somebody's finally doing it. I wish that Ally did it, because I feel like people just, curl up in a ball and give up at that point. And I just think it's sickening that people can throw these rumors around and, there's never anything that follows up after.
Yeah.
I agree 100% on that. It's like you said, if you have some sort of a name for yourself, as soon as someone throws some sort of allegation at you,
you have a fucking target on your head the whole time.
And that's it. Even like, so I'll speak about Ally for a second, right? So say this whole thing's happening and there's no proof of it, and then people just kind of forget about it because there's no proof and blah, blah, blah. No one's just going to give up at that point. He's always going to have that stigma to him that he was the guy that that he had relations with someone that was underage, regardless if it was true or not. Oh, they just didn't catch him doesn't mean it's not true. And even if the shoe was on the other foot, well, yeah, so say it was true. Obviously, it's pretty much the same thing, only it's actually true. Like, his career's over. Right. He's always going to be known as that. And I think at some point there has to be repercussions for someone accusing someone of something wrongfully when it's not true at all, because it's ruining people's lives. And if it is true, if this guy's actually doing that, he's a fucking pig and he deserves to have that target on him. But that's just what we live in now. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. And
well, there's no justice being delivered in any of this. Yeah. The only justice is like over Twitter and ruining someone's career on social media. And I'm glad that you brought up the fact that either way, he's going to be like shunned regardless. Yeah. There's the same outcome either way. He's either shunned or he's shunned and proven guilty.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. And if he did do it, then like good. He doesn't deserve to be involved in it. We talk about this shit all the fucking time, where all of these pros that come out and they don't understand how to cope with being in the limelight, bringing on this new rise to fame. They don't understand how to deal with it. So, when they get adoration from fans, it doesn't matter who or like what age they are. It's something that they've never experienced before. What needs to be, pushed further is, correcting mental health, or trying to approach mental health in the professional gaming scene even more so, because it's just coming into the limelight even more every single day. But I don't know. Yeah. If anybody's ever interested, watch the Vic Mignogna stuff. It's incredible how all of this is playing.
So, like, I mean, I think the heart of this story here, and I mean, I don't know what these guys are in front of CRT TVs for a long time, so I mean, I don't know what like type of stuff's going on in this dude's head that getting into a relationship with somebody who's like fucking 10 years younger than you seems like it makes sense. Both of them did end up admitting that like they were in a relationship, but neither of them admitted to anything like physical. Like it was more of an emotional, like basically like a like more like pen pals, but like romantically. I don't know what that adds up to, but there was like screenshots of stuff and like I said, like hotel letters and shit. But I don't know.
Did they live in the same city as each other?
I don't think so. So I don't know.
So check flights,
Right.
flights, receipts, check fucking train tickets, check everything.
I mean, so it looks like whatever happened, both of them had not like issued official statements except for like to their own kind of fan base or communities. And just one guy said, "Hey, we were in a relationship. I denied it at first because I was afraid, but like, we were in a relationship, but that's over with. Sorry for lying about it at first. I'm disappointed in myself and." Whatever. And then the other person said, it's all taken care of, which I would assume means like the relationship's over. Don't ask me about it anymore. So I think it's an odd way to proceed for the both of them. I feel sufficiently weird about even spending this much time on the topic, and it's only been like 5 minutes, so I figured we should move on. But yeah, just fucking get it together, man. And if you, like, there's plenty of fish in the sea, stay in your fucking weight class, in your age class,
I don't want to stay in my weight class.
I mean,
I'll be the first to say
big girl.
I'll be the first to say it. I don't want to stay in my weight.
Bobby the Stallion. So in happier news, and there's no way to, I guess they kind of have like underage relationships in Game of Thrones sometimes. So Game of Thrones, the Game of Thrones prequel, we're starting to get some details on it. And apparently it has over 100 kingdoms in it. There's a lot of stuff coming out from HBO. Entertainment Weekly usually has all the Game of Thrones scoops. And apparently they talked to George R.R. Martin that said that the show is going to be set during the golden age of heroes. It's going to be a lot more of a like fantastical view of Westeros than the kind of like more, I guess, as grounded as Game of Thrones was. So it'll be a different flavor of fantasy, which sounds fucking amazing. And Westeros at this point is before the Seven Kingdoms era. It's over 100 kingdoms, all kind of like ruled by like smaller and larger lords. And there will be kind of like the origin story of the Stark house, but there will be it'll predate the Lannisters. So. Probably going to be, hopefully, significantly less incest in the show. That'd be just kind of great. Wouldn't mind cutting down on that. But other than that, I would love to hear what you guys think about it. Chris, I know you didn't finish Game of Thrones, but I figure you probably watched enough of it that you could maybe tell us what you'd want out of the next series, as well as whether or not you plan to watch it. And Bob, I know you and I both are on similar levels of knowledge in terms of Game of Thrones history and lore and whatnot, so be excited to hear what you guys have for predictions for this and what you want to see out of the new series.
Yeah, so I'm not as knowledgeable as you guys, so I would like to hear what you guys think about it first. Just so my juices get going, because I haven't watched that show in God knows how long. So once you guys talk about it a little bit, some things might pop into my head, so I'll pass the mic to you guys.
Love that. So polite of you.
It's kind of like when he passes the question on to somebody else during Zoltan Bob's Guess My Game.
Oh, which happens like 15 times a game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. As long as it's nothing like Season 8, I'm on board. I'm excited to see the more fantastical elements of it. There's so much that goes on in the books that never gets touched in the show. Like all the fantastical shit that goes along with Euron Greyjoy that just, it never gets brought up. There's so many characters that never get brought up. So I'm glad to see that they're taking a different approach to it this time. Whereas, like you said, it's not super grounded, but it's more in a medieval sense of what, that time period, in realism could be until like dragons and fucking red witches and shit come along.
Yeah.
But, and people getting resurrected and shit. But I don't know. This is what predates the Andals, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, the Andals have like landed there, but it predates the Lannisters. So before the Lannisters were on Casterly Rock, it was the Casterly family, and then there was one guy, Lan the Clever, who like infamously like stole that land from them.
Yep.
So yeah, the Andals are there, but like people will be closer to it. So like there are direct descendants of the first men and the Andals who are there. So it'll be like right up in that timeline.
I think it makes it's like a good opportunity to show like more widespread chaos, because before everything's united, everything has to be, if you have 100 kingdoms at that point, it's just small kingdoms left and right, with the occasional larger one being plopped up.
Yep.
So yeah, there's gonna have to be like widespread chaos for the most part, because the whole purpose of uniting the kingdoms was to stop that shit.
Yeah, exactly. So I have a feeling, my prediction is that it's going to focus on 7 like POV characters, which will end up making up those 7 kingdoms.
No, 8. It'll be 8 because one will be a child of the forest.
That's true. Yeah, it's definitely going to involve the children of the forest, because they're probably still around in a lot more widespread of a way. During the golden age of heroes, which is pretty fucking sick, because we kind of went through the whole, I mean, even if you're reading the Game of Thrones books, you read about a lot of like iconic characters that like, the old ladies are like reading to kids, or reading about to kids, and then you kind of see some in Bran's flashbacks. You see Sir Arthur Dayne's Sword of the Morning, who doesn't even use the fucking sword that he's named for, which sucks, but it's still cool. It's still one of the better fights in the series. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of, I think, characters that have been heavily speculated about or rumored or hinted at in certain ways, and I'm really excited to kind of see how they play that up, because I would love to see some more like high fantasy, heroic stuff and less like backroom politics. But I think we'll get some of that too.
Who was the one that almost killed Robert Baratheon?
Who was the one that almost killed Robert Baratheon?
I can't remember his name.
The one that Robert killed Rhaegar Targaryen on the Trident, but it wasn't that. It was probably it might have been Arthur Dayne.
I don't know. It wasn't. It was somebody. It was like
it could have been Barristan Selmy. It could have been.
No, it wasn't a knight. He wasn't a knight. He was someone else. I can't remember the name of it. I'll look into it.
Yeah, I can't.
But he was touted as being like a crazy fucking swordsman who like would raid villages and shit. And I think it was Robert Baratheon was tasked with like ending the raids, and he almost killed him in single combat.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know who that is though, so I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to look that up, because I do remember that. It was like It was way before he was like the king and like went after this. Yeah. They do mention that at some point.
Fuck, now this is fucking eating me alive right now.
Yeah, now I'm gonna have to like go through like the Ice and Fire wiki and see what the fuck's going on. But yeah, because I think let's see, Robert was knighted by Barristan Selmy. Yeah, I don't know. Knight of the Laughing Tree.
That might be it.
Yeah, so he had a drinking contest with somebody, swore to unmask the mystery knight known as the Knight of the Laughing Tree, although he failed to do so. So that was probably it, who he got like unhorsed by. The Knight of the Laughing Tree was like the mystery knight that defeated him. So
Kenny said a name. I don't know if that...
Richard Lonmouth. Yeah, that was the guy that he had like a drinking contest with, who like dared him to do it, basically, to like go after him. Which is like classic Robert Baratheon. Has like a drinking contest with somebody, and he's like, hey, go after this mystery knight and go beat the shit out of him. And then he just fucking flips a table over and chases after him. Just give me a young Robert story. I don't fucking care about anything else.
Right, dude. Oh my god. Yep. Or just, we've talked about this before, or just an entire fucking show revolving around the Kingsguard.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's obvious now that I'm ignorant to Game of Thrones. I don't really know as much as you guys. Do you think this should be more of a story for Ned?
So this will probably be, I mean, this is going to be like Ned's great-great-great-great-grandfather.
Yeah.
It's that far.
Oh, yeah. This is like,
way before.
This is when like Ned's house was first incorporated. So like Bran the Builder is like probably in this show. Like Bran the Builder, who like built the wall, is probably, I would assume that it's probably picking up sometime after he dies. But the kingdoms aren't there yet, so which means that nobody has knelt to the Targaryens, which means there's still a king in the north. So it's probably like Brand the Builder or something like that. It says it's during the golden age of heroes. I don't know like where that actually I don't know where that actually sits, like timeline wise, like canonically. It says, according to the wiki, it says Age of Heroes is a time in history. It began approximately 10,000 years ago. But I mean, I don't know when that age ended, so it could be like, I don't know, 6,000 years before like the events of Game of Thrones.
Jesus. All right. Well, I won't know a goddamn thing.
Well, the good thing is that you can just fucking decide, like, well, I would love to see more of this from the show, like just an element, because there's a lot. It's going to be. It's like, oh, remember that time I mean, there's fucking maybe 5 major characters in Game of Thrones, and everybody still called Daenerys Khaleesi. And so if they think that that's going to be bad, then I can't wait to hear them just butcher every name for every character that gets introduced here. But I'm excited to see what they do with it. I don't even think there's any casting information yet. But whatever it is, I'm sure it's going to be dope. And I'm a junkie for that fucking world and all that lore and stuff anyway. So
I think Bob had a really cool kind of point out right there about talking about showing more how it's going to be on an unstructured level and see the 8 people that break off and they're just like, fuck this, like we can't take this anymore, and like see how all the houses actually start. I feel like that'd be really cool.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Naomi Watts is in the show. I don't remember the last thing I saw Naomi Watts in, but she was in King Kong. That is the last thing, actually, probably the last thing that I remember seeing her in. She was also in The Ring.
This girl.
She was in. Wow, I could have sworn that she was in more, but I guess not that much. Huh. Oh man, she was in Eastern Promises. What a fucking movie! I don't know if you guys have seen Eastern Promises before, but
nope.
Woo! It's a Russian mob movie. Viggo Mortensen's in it. My God, go watch Eastern Promises. All right, this topic has been just all over the fucking place. So, last thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is kind of a big one. San Diego Comic-Con is fully underway, and there's been a couple of announcements here and there. My favorite thing about Comic-Con is that every piece of news that I actually care about is literally completely unrelated to comics. So it kind of baffles me that this is not like a completely separate show at this point, but it's really just an entertainment and media show. Maybe next week we can do an episode once like the big stuff comes out. We can just probably do like a full rundown of SDCC. But the big thing that's come out, which I was really curious about, the Square Enix Avengers game was live played. It wasn't live streamed, which was a big deal because people are already skeptical about the game, including all of us. So the reactions have been pretty pessimistic so far, and like the fact that it wasn't.
We were talking about that. We were talking about the fact that they specifically chose not to live stream.
Yeah. So they weren't going to, and I don't remember the last time I saw anything from Hall H live streamed, because that's usually like Hall H is usually a big deal at Comic-Con. So granted, it's at Comic-Con anyway. It's not going to get live streamed, but it still just added more kind of skepticism from the folks who already didn't really think highly of that game. However, despite all that, it looks like Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics put on a decent show, and they released a lot of information about kind of the end game. They released a lot of information about the single player and co-op modes. They hinted at a lot of different characters that would be making appearances. They delved into details about like customization with different costumes and skill trees and like the different RPG elements there. And they did also say that the first time fans at large will be able to see like all this gameplay stuff is after Gamescom, which is just in a few weeks. So, I mean, it won't be too long. The panel also mentioned that the footage of the demo will be released a week after Gamescom. So like the Comic-Con footage isn't coming out until a week after Gamescom, but there should be like more live play stuff at Gamescom. So it actually looks like there's been some positive reactions from it. Has this moved the needle in either direction for you guys at all, just hearing like generally positive, decent things about it, or is it still like there's not enough here and I need to see more.
I think it's making a move a little bit. I mean, I'm not completely sold yet, but I mean, obviously hearing good things about anything points the needle in that direction a little bit more.
Right.
It was a little bit of a mystery when it was first brought up, but I can't say that the pieces are putting itself together, but I'm a little more hopeful than I was last month.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I definitely agree. I think it was really easy to be skeptical because you see something that you just directly don't like. But I think it's almost helping me a little bit that I'm just hearing that there were generally positive reactions and I don't have to see it for myself just yet. But I think it'll kind of help me balance out my expectations a bit from being disappointed from what I originally saw to not seeing the next chunk of actual gameplay and hearing that it's actually pretty good. This leads me to believe that maybe the cinematic just sucked and the first gameplay is actually going to kick ass. I mean, who the fuck knows? So, Bob, where are you at on this?
I am less inclined to purchase.
Okay.
I do not. I mean, look, I don't trust fucking giant companies as it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust corporations. I don't trust the government.
I only buy local. I worked in cash until like 2 years ago. So no, I don't like it. I think it's sketchy to not stream the gameplay footage. I think there's an absolute possibility that the people that went to the live like the live playthrough for this demo could have been just a giant mix of people who are at Comic-Con for comic books, for TV shows, and for movies, and not gamers. There's an absolute possibility that the people commenting on it that were there just aren't gamers. And if you want to know what your audience wants, like again, going back to the Gears of War thing, you show it to the gamers. You show it to the people who are going to play these games specifically. And if you live stream that, everybody who was at all interested in playing or purchasing that game would have watched it, and they would have given you feedback. But they chose, again, the binary, yes, we can show you it and get your feedback, or no, we're not going to show you it, and we're just going to go along with whatever happens after. And they chose not to show it to people. And I don't trust that. I don't trust that in video game developers.
Yeah, right, because they could have easily released a gameplay. I mean, right after Hall H closes, they have, let's say, a cinematic trailer or whatever, or a gameplay sizzle reel. It's like 2 minutes long. They could have easily thrown that shit up on YouTube right afterwards. The crowd goes ape shit, and it goes, "Hey, I'm, John Johnson. I'm the lead game developer on Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics Avengers. Here's a brief teaser on what you're going to see ahead of Gamescom, and we can't wait to show you more once the show is here. Enjoy." And then people get to chew on that for a couple weeks. I completely agree. I mean, if you're showing it to a comic book audience, they're probably going to calm themselves to death anyway, just having more superhero shit to digest. And it's easy to get excited about Avengers because it's still hot on everybody's tongues. So, yeah, I'm definitely skeptical that, I mean, granted, I don't want to hear anybody in gaming's opinions on anything because it's just a fucking hellhole of a commentary to listen to. And this is somebody who does gaming commentary once a week for the last 137 weeks. But, yeah, I don't want to hear gamers' opinions on it because they're going to whine no matter what.
That's a very fair point, too. People are going to find the negatives regardless. But at some point, you have to take some of the negatives and the positives from the feedback.
Actually, Tony Stark's beard is more like a trapezoid, and it looked more like a rhombus in this trailer. So it's actually not.
Thank you, Greg. We're gonna note that, and we'll work on it. We're gonna workshop it.
We're gonna take that and we're gonna put it right on the fridge, right here.
It reminds me of the pot of SpongeBob when it's like sounds like a lot of hoopla. The guy just keeps screaming, hoopla.
Yeah, I want to throw a brick at pretty much everybody who talks about video games on the internet except for us, including myself.
Yeah, I'll line up for you.
Let's get a running start real quick. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got on that. I mean, I want this game to be good. Don't get me wrong. Like
I agree.
I fucking want to play a good superhero game. I can't wait. I'm actually, right after we do this, I'm probably going to pre-purchase Ultimate Alliance 3 so that it downloads in my sleep. And then I can wake up early and play it. And I'm really excited to do that. I want to play a good superhero game. I don't give a fuck if it's corny or cartoony or campy. I don't care. I want a good superhero game. And it's co-op, which is great. You can't fucking go wrong with co-op. So, yeah, I'm excited to do that and also to communicate with my friends at playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 online via the Nintendo Switch Online Dixie Cups because they don't have an official voice app. So I'm going to go to John's house, I'm going to get a big old spool of string and run it to my house a few zip codes over, and we'll communicate using fucking Dixie Cups.
You know what better way you could communicate? You could go into the Wicked Good Gaming Discord and just get into one of the channels there.
Wow, true. Yeah.
Ooh, wow. I never thought about it like that before.
Okay, so you know what? Let me write this feedback down for you. Ooh. Here you go. You can take that feedback.
Oh, thank you. Yep.
Yep.
Dom, I have a good superhero game you could play.
What is it?
Spider-Man. One of the best games I've played in a long time.
Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4 computer entertainment system?
Yeah.
My girlfriend was giving me shit last weekend because I still haven't played it.
Dude, it's so good.
I keep hearing it. Dude, I haven't touched any other game besides Teamfight Tactics since that fucking game came out. And I have I still need to beat Darkest Dungeon. I still need to get through Darkest Dungeon, and I'm probably like 80% of the way there. I have so much left.
You're like Finbot Calamitous. You just can't finish what you start.
I can't.
Is that another SpongeBob reference?
No, that's Finbot Calamitous. That's from Fairly Odd Parents.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
It's either Fairly Odd Parents or Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, one of the two. I'm gonna go with Jimmy Neutron on that one.
I think it is.
I think that actually was I think that was Fairly Odd Parents.
Fuck.
I don't know. Don't fact check that.
Fact check this, because I think it's.
How the fuck do you spell calamitous?
CLA.
I spelled it so wrong. I'm not even gonna tell you. It was Jimmy Neutron.
Told you. Fucking knew it.
Whatever. All right. So that's all we got. We're coming up on the hour right now. Looking forward to next week's episode, which is going to be the last episode before my wedding. Holy shit. And then I'm going to be missing for 2 weeks because, your boy's going to be on a beach in Greece overdosing on white wine and olive oil. So you might be thinking to yourself, Dom, don't you have enough oil all over you already? But no, the answer is motherfucking no. And I'm going to be wiping pita bread off my forehead and eating it. So
that's fucking gross.
Anyway,
that's so gross. That's fucking disgusting.
It is time to land the train. Chris.
Shout out to Psychotic Lamb. I don't know where he's been. I hope all is well.
Hope he's okay. I was playing TFT with him the other day.
Oh, really?
We had I think it was Friday actually. I had a nice little community night in Teamfight Tactics.
Ooh.
It was I think it was me, Ken, Q, Psychotic Lamb, JB Genesis, and there might have been one other person. I can't remember. But yeah, he jumped in.
All right. Well, shout out Psychotic Lamb. Good to know you're still around. You're a good guy.
Hey, yeah. Robert.
Actually, shout out to everybody who joined me on the stream on Friday. I just mentioned all you guys, so thanks for coming by. Thanks for jumping into the queue with me, and we'll get another one going now that ranked is up, and I'll continue to stomp every single one of you guys and continue to gain LP and continue to be the best Teamfight Tactics player to ever play the game.
Oh my god!
Also, I gotta give a big Wicked Good Gaming suck it to the latest patch that came today to Teamfight Tactics because Blade Masters is fucking broken and it's really upsetting me.
Okay, all right. Big shout out to the good folks over at Z&P Art. Good friend of mine who has apparently just been buying up all of our t-shirts and wearing them all over the world.
Where can people find the t-shirts?
Oh, you can find those t-shirts at wickedgoodgaming.com/shop. So he's apparently just been buying up all of our merch and then wearing it every time he goes to festivals and just on vacations and stuff like that. And him and his friend make some pretty phenomenal merch and pins themselves. They're all super funky, a lot of kaleidoscope influence designs. They're big EDM guys, and so they have a lot of stuff there influence. But they have some amazing pins. One of them is an Oni Darth Maul pin. The other one is like a Stormtrooper Samurai type pin, which looks amazing, and I'm probably gonna honestly order that while we're live right now. But it looks super dope, and you can check them out. It's Z&P. That's ZANDP art.bigcartel.com. Z&P Art, pretty amazing stuff, and I'm really impressed. As somebody who does mostly just designs with shapes, it's pretty dope to see hand drawn stuff. So yeah, they do some pretty great stuff. So go check that out, Z&P Art. Big shout out to them, and a big big shout out to just everybody who's been rocking with us for a really long time. Occasionally we do these shout outs, and I want to do it again. You guys have been with us for 137 weeks, and we got some big life events coming up. So really appreciate you guys rocking with us, especially on the days when we're all like exhausted. And to be completely transparent, the podcast is like the last thing on our minds. We hope we still are able to entertain you guys, and I'm glad you guys stick around. So big shout out. Now that all of that is out of the way, I'm going to go help Lauren take some bags into the house. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast on every platform. Download all these apps and subscribe to them individually. She's like yelling some directions outside. I don't know what she's talking about. Make sure you find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music. Those aren't two different... Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Music. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Overcast, Radio.com, iHeartRadio, anywhere you find fine podcasts, go subscribe to us. Download those apps. Do that shit. Quatonic is close to a 2-year sub. Good God. That's wild. So go subscribe to us on everything. Steal your girlfriend's Amazon Prime and subscribe to us on twitch.tv/wickedgoodgaming. Make sure you check out that Patreon. It's patreon.com/wickedgoodgaming. And all the other links are being flooded in our Twitch chat right now. But yeah, so thanks for sticking around. We love you so much, and we'll see you next week.